All right, it's two dudes with attitudes, a wrestling podcast with Ryan enjoys wrestling and my wrestling opinion, MWO, and we are doing our AEW week of October 4th edition. We're going to talk all things Collision, Dynamite, Titty Tuesday, and we're going to do our LVD, MVD as Title Tuesday. Excuse me, there was no real title matches, so I
should have been.
It was just titties. Yeah. There was a lot of titties though. So yes, but yeah, we're gonna break it all down, what we thought. But all jokes aside, AEW is cooking, man. I enjoyed the shows, and we'll break it all down in our favorite segments from all of it.
Yeah, AEW's been doing their thing. We didn't talk about NXT this week, but I did think that despite the ratings and despite the number of people that tuned in for Title Tuesday, I think AEW had the better show between this and Showdown. There's a lot of things that happened on Showdown where I was just like, huh? Like, this doesn't make any sense. But I really enjoyed what they did, despite the fact that they called it Title Tuesday and only had 2 title matches. If they hadn't done that, I think AEW could have had a better week.
I saw people online defending it, saying like, well, no, but most of the matches had title ramifications in it. And I'm like, really? Because Mox versus Ishii for the 50th time in a pointless match that nobody asked for or wanted. Like, what are we talking? There were so many pointless matches. I don't get it. But nonetheless, it was a good show. Better than Showdown. I don't know. I like the Hardys winning belts. The women, so Ruka showing out. I mean, I don't know. Both shows were solid.
Both shows were solid. But I don't know. I thought AEW's was just a little bit more enjoyable, minus some minor things.
But how are the ratings?
Oh,
I heard.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. This is our AEW edition. We don't want to bring up ratings.
It was not, all right, it was not good.
Hit the music. Let's.
Two dudes with attitudes. Let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking. So let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton. They here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast. Start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all Lee. The two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
All right, but all jokes aside, AEW is doing good, and I did enjoy Collision. It wasn't the best show ever. It never really is, but it had some fun stuff. And the first fun thing I think I'm actually enjoying as we break down Collision, I'm actually enjoying Daniel Garcia in the Death Riders. I wasn't sure I was going to, because Daniel Garcia has always been that guy who is full of potential but never really lives up to it due to his booking. But I think they're booking him well. He's still like a plain Jane, like everybody is. He's just like a created wrestler A still, but he wears like a hoodie now with the hood on. I actually think it works for him, but he's nothing outstanding, but he at least has an edge to him. And after this match, they had a triple threat match, and he helped to win it. And Matt Menard, Daddy Magic himself, gets in his face from commentary and is basically berating him like a child, as Marina Shafir is like literally like staring at him. Her looks are amazing, by the way. She's been so good with like facial really expressions. Yeah. Either it's fear or like I'm gonna murder you. I wonder how it is in bed, huh? Let me know, mustache Kyle O'Reilly. Not Kyle O'Reilly,
Roderick Strong.
But, yeah, but 100%. But anyway, he gives it to Garcia, and then Garcia basically states that he loves him, but Daddy Magic was a loser when he was teamed with him. He had to do what was better for him because you were bringing him down, but no hard feelings. I really, really like you. Once again, what are we like? Here's my thing. I get that we're trying to do like real life, right? Because in real life, that's what a person would do, right? If you're going to break up with someone, do you ever truly tell them why? Or do you find excuses because you don't want to hurt their feelings? Unless you're like drunk or really angry, you usually try to care about people's feelings. And I guess, but on television and wrestling, F those feelings. Like my boy, the LA Rams owner said a few years ago, we won the Super Bowl, fuck them picks, right? You don't F them feelings. You don't care. Who cares about those feelings, right? So I think, why Daniel Garcia is part of the Death Riders now? Why not just let Daddy Magic have it? You're a loser. You held me down. Stay out of my way, or we're going to put you down, right? Like, couldn't it just been as simple as that, or no?
You would think. And when they did this promo, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. I was like, oh, he's finally we're going to see the Daniel Garcia that we all have wanted to see since he joined the Death Riders. And instead, he's just like, yeah, I'll always have a sweet spot in my heart for you. And I'm like, what are you talking about right now, man?
Yeah.
Like, this is like, huh? Like I'll look back on our it was just like a girlfriend that broke up with
Yeah.
their boyfriend. Like I'll always have a spot, I'll always have love for you, but you were holding me down. But like everything he was saying was straight facts. So like he wasn't taken seriously when he was with Daddy Magic.
Nope.
And he was holding him back and he was keeping him down. And so, I do like the idea of the sympathetic heel, which is, what WWE does a really good job of. And I think AEW is doing a good job of that as well. But I don't know. This promo I was excited for it, but it just didn't land for me at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. But I do like Daniel Garcia in the Death Riders, and I do think he's good when he's in the ring. They always make him unsure of himself, though. Like, even when he was in the Chris Jericho crew and he was like, am I an entertainer or am I a wrestler? He was always like, he was in the crew and still like not sure of himself. Like, it's okay to make Daniel Garcia sure. Just make him sure of himself. Maybe it'll work. Maybe he can become a future star. I think he has more potential than Kyle Fletcher, and they're pushing Fletcher to the damn moon. So that's just my opinion, though.
No, yeah, I do like him in the Death Riders, and maybe him being with Moxley is exactly what he needs. It's the kick in the ass that he's going to need to take that next step. And I do think they're also, speaking of the Death Riders, I do think they're starting to phase Wheeler Yuta out. He's gotten less and less like mic time. He's gotten less and like he's the first one off screen. He's like not. I feel like they're kind of replacing Daniel Garcia or Wheeler Yuta with Daniel Garcia. And now that Pac is back, like Death Riders is getting awfully crowded. So it kind of feels like there's two main factions in AEW. You got the Don Callis family with 1,000 people, and then you have the Death Riders with almost 1,000 people. So yeah.
I was going to say you're not that crowded when you have the Don Callis faction in the same organization as you. There's 70. They took a photo together. There were 75 guys in it. They're the modern day NWO. It's like a joke. But but with that said, no. But I feel like Wheeler Yuta's more like the JD McDonough of the Death Riders, right? Where he's just there just to kind of get beat up, act tough, get beat up. They need somebody to get beat up in the crew. It ain't going to be Claudio. You know what I mean? It can't be Daniel Garcia. No, nor should it be. So yeah. Also, just so everybody knows, I didn't say it on this episode, but I am sick. I'm fighting a huge cold, flu, COVID. I don't know what the heck I have. It's something bad. So bear with me if I'm coughing and other things. Said it on our last stream. I forgot to say it on this one. I don't want people to be like, why does he sound like that? Next thing I'm going to talk about is my favorite tag team in AEW history. And in my opinion, the greatest tag team in AEW history, the Acclaimed. Matt Caster was having an interview in the back with Lexi Nair, and then in came Big Bill and Brian Keith to basically give it to him and call him a loser and a whatever else. And then in came Bowens, who had his own plaques. He had a cover of a gay magazine. He was like voted top something. I don't know what it was. He was like, I don't know. He had a whole bunch of awards. He had 4, though, compared to Max Caster's 1. And basically, they challenged them to a match. They both accept for next Saturday at Collision. But the Acclaimed are not together. They both wanted to make it sure of it that they were not going to be getting back together, but they're wrestling for their second time together. What say you? Is this good, bad for the Acclaimed and Big Bill and Brian Keith? We got nothing else for them, so let's just have them build up the Acclaimed. I don't know. Big Bill was like the hottest thing going on. It's like, Tony Khan hates big men. I'm telling you, hates big men.
I think it's great for AEW. I think it's great for the Acclaimed. I think this is the most I've been invested in Max Caster and Anthony Bowens in a long time. I think it's great for the AEW tag team division. I think it sucks horribly for Big Bill and Brian Keith because Big Bill was just in a singles match against Eddie Kingston at AEW All Out, and now they're doing, which was only like 2 weeks ago, and now they're doing this crap with him versus the Acclaimed, and they're probably going to lose, and it's just what are we doing? What are we doing here? So I like the idea of getting the Acclaimed back together. And, I made a video about this on TikTok and I'm going to tout it here, but I did talk about the AEW tag division. Kind of a lot of people for a while there, it felt like it was dead. It was dormant. It was just kind of an afterthought in AEW. You had the Young Bucks held the tag team titles, or Private Party had the tag team titles and they didn't do anything with them. Then the Young Bucks won them and they didn't do anything with them. And then, now Brodito has them, and but they really aren't doing much with Brodito either. But they are telling stories outside of the tag team division. You've got everything going on with Jurassic Express. You've got it in the Young Bucks. You have Brodito now going up against Takeshita and Okada, and they just went up against the Hurt Syndicate not too long ago, and now you have the Acclaimed slowly getting back together. You have FTR and Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. So there's a lot of depth right now with the tag division. So it went from stagnant to deep overnight, and getting the Acclaimed back together just adds more credibility to the tag team division. And I think Anthony Bowens and Max Caster are better together than they are apart. And I think that was the whole point that they were trying to tell with the Best Wrestler Alive story and the Pride of Pro Wrestling story, that they are better together. And I think that's ultimately what they're going to realize. But it's going to take some time. But I do like what they're doing with the Acclaim.
Yeah, I agree. Well said. Well said. I like that. Did you include FTR? I don't think you did. But
FTR, and Cope and Cage, Young Bucks are doing the best work of their career. Yeah, everything.
Oh, you said that. Yeah, they definitely are. All right, last thing, we had another promo. We had one Toni Storm and Kris Statlander, the newest women's champion, who I kind of stated I don't know why she won the women's champ. I thought it was kind of out of nowhere. They had a promo, and Toni Storm wanted to lay down and do it. Buffet, let's lay down. So they both lay down head to head. They cut a promo, but basically it was like, once again, WWE has their like promo style. And now I feel like AEW has theirs, where it was like, I don't hate you. I love the title, but if I was going to lose it to someone, doll, it was going to be you. And Kris Statlander's like, I also like you. And we're besties and this and that. And then they decide to get up. And then all of a sudden she's like, let's fight. No belts, no bells. Let's go. And they start going at it. I think the most intriguing part, though, was the Triangle of Madness. They had already attacked people beforehand. They came out, they attacked them. Thekla grabs the mic and basically says, none of y'all bitches have beat me. I'm going to beat y'all. Y'all got to get through me. I don't know why Thekla's above my girl, Julia Hart. I think Julia Hart should be the leader of that crew. I don't know why Thekla now is like the leader of the Triangle of Madness. But nonetheless, Harley Cameron came out. Toni Storm and all of them took him over, ran him off. I thought it was a very good promo, and I liked the focus on the women's division. And, we're not going to talk about it in Dynamite, but Megan Bayne is getting teamed up with FTR right now. And holy crap, Megan Bayne is like, she's the god. She is a goddess. She is straight drop dead. That woman is like perfection. But nonetheless, the women's division is freaking cooking in AEW. I love it. And I loved all this. I like that we're building contenders, although I don't know what happened to Julia Hart. Julia Hart won the TBS champion. In my opinion, she's probably the best TBS champion, way better than Mercedes Moné is right now, having pointless matches, which we could bring up in Dynamite, which we didn't, but we're not going to. But I think she's good, and now all of a sudden she's like just part of a crew under Thekla, and Tekla or Thekla? It's spelled Thekla, but it's Tekla, right? Tekla?
I think so. Yeah,
I keep saying it Thekla because THE is
yeah.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. Well, I think it's Tekla, but nonetheless, yeah, I like her. I like her style. I like her little Bray Wyatt move, but I don't know. I just still feel like Julia Hart should be the leader of it. But what say you? Did you like all this? Did you like the promo?
Yeah, no, I liked all of it. I am curious, to see what happens with Toni Storm when she doesn't have the women's championship, because I feel like 90% of her career in AEW she's had the title. So I'm curious to see if she can stay relevant, she can stay over, she can stay, as popular as she is without having the title. I like the focus of Kris Statlander because I think she's somebody that they've done a lot of start and stop booking on. Like, she was built to be this unstoppable force. She was the undefeated, she was I can't remember her title, but she was like the streak ender or something like that. That was her name. And then she lost to Mercedes Moné. And then they built her back up, and then she lost to Willow Nightingale. And then they built her back up, and then she lost to so and so. And it's just like that's kind of how she is. Now she's the women's champion. So I'm excited to see what they do with her. I like the promo from Toni Storm. I like the focus on the women's division as a whole. And, we still have those women's tag team championships coming out whenever the heck they are. And,
excited.
Triangle Madness is good for them. Harley Cameron's perfect for that group. I think
Megan Bayne,
with Megan Bayne, all of them. I think everybody, all of them look great. And, Willow Nightingale's doing her thing. So, this was a great way to focus on the women and showcase what the women's division in AEW.
Yeah.
Another point that's been weak in AEW is their build of the women's division. And now I feel like they're really focusing on that as well as the tag division.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get into Dynamite. Dynamite was actually a good show. Dynamite was a cooking, ladies and gentlemen. It was a good night, as you said, Titty Tuesday. You thought it was better than the NXT show. But we started off with a promo, Samoa Joe and Hangman Page. And I think this promo, I'll let you start this time, but I think they said a lot and said nothing all at the same time. What say you? What'd you think about this promo? And did it get you hyped up for them two wrestling out of the blue?
Yeah, it did say a lot. They said a lot, but it didn't get me amped. I'm not feeling this match. This match just feels way too random for me. We didn't do an episode last week, and I really wish that we could have, but because I would have crapped on the way that this match started, because Hangman Page, this is why they're fighting. Hangman Page and Samoa Joe teamed up against the Death Riders and the Ops, and Hangman Page beat the Death Riders, and Hangman Page picked up one of the trios championships, and handed it to Samoa Joe oddly and awkwardly, forcing Samoa Joe to drop it. And that's why they're fighting. It was a disrespectful case of sportsmanship from Adam Page, and that irritated Samoa Joe. And now they're fighting because of that. He dropped the trios championship. They're fighting for the world championship because he dropped the trios championship. It's just this is the one of the dumbest builds I've seen. But
it is.
But I have no doubt that Samoa Joe is freaking fantastic in everything that he does in AEW and just everything he does in wrestling. So the match itself is going to be great. I just don't like how we're getting there. This promo was pretty much more of the same. He's like, look, man, I dropped your title and you got upset. Like, I don't understand why you're mad at me. Like, I don't know what, but if you want a match, I'll give you a match. All you had to do is ask for, but don't make me regret helping you against the Death Riders. We all know that you wouldn't be champion if it wasn't for me. That's not really true. You wouldn't be champion if it wasn't for Bryan Danielson and Darby Allin. But it was just all kinds of minor things that they kept saying, and it was just strange. And this promo just did not land for me at all. I know everyone was talking about how it was amped and they're excited, and it was a great show of one-upsmanship by these two guys, and it just shows what legends they are. But this promo just did not land for me whatsoever.
Like I said, they said a lot but said nothing at all, and that's the thing. They both are phenomenal at promos. They're both the top 5 best promo guys in AEW, but that doesn't make what they say important. Everything they said was pointless. That's the thing. Did they deliver it good? Yes. Did it sound great? Hell yeah. Did it get me hyped? No. Why? What the hell are they wrestling for? So that's what I mean, right? And it's not a knock on them. It's just they have nothing to work with. Hangman Page, first title run, I hated. I thought it was pointless. I thought it was empty. I didn't dig it. And his build up to the new one, I was the biggest supporter of him. I wanted him to win this title so damn bad. I thought he earned it. He was better than he had ever been. And then he wins it. And now he's on another boring title reign. And I really feel like there's only been 2 good title reigns out of the 7 or 8 I think that AEW has ever had. They're just like, they give people titles and do nothing with it. Here's why. Number one, his last 2 matches have been randomly put together. Kyle Fletcher and Samoa Joe. Out of nowhere. Just, you guys are wrestling. He's been wrestling on shows constantly against nobodies on Dynamite and so on. And so much so that Joe even pointed out the fact that he's doing this. So anyone in the comments who are AEW hardcore fans are going to say I'm wrong. I'm not. Samoa Joe really said the reality is that Page isn't a real champion because he'll give someone an opportunity of a lifetime and then face them in 10 minutes to pad his stats. He literally called him the Kirk Cousins of professional wrestling. Like, he literally said everything I've been saying this whole time. So why are you going to, I've said this a lot on this podcast and just in general on TikTok and so on. The reason why I always didn't like John Cena and why I don't think he's as great as he is, because he would always tear people down personally. And you can't tear somebody down personally in a promo, because if it's real, then it's real, right? It's like when you make fun of somebody. I'm not going to make fun of my friends or family or anybody with something that is real. I'm going to make fun of them with something that isn't real, right? Because if you say it and it's real, then it's hurtful. It brings you down. Like, to say that comment, I was like, man, Samoa Joe, why would you say that? That's really what's going on. It was really weird. I didn't hate it because, like I said, the promo was delivered well. I just think it was a lot of blah, 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 and led to it didn't get me hyped up for the match at all. That's all I'm saying. I'm not I wasn't like on my HBO Max right after that, like order WrestleDream. Like, that wasn't on my to-do list after that promo.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel too. let's see what they do next week. I know the pay-per-view is next Saturday, October the 18th, but I'm curious to see what they do on Dynamite next week to get me amped for this match. But it does just, it's still like he dropped the trios title. Like, did I mention that? Like and because of that, he gets a world title match. Like, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. But how we got there. Like, I have no problem with these guys wrestling. I think it's going to be a great match. These guys are two of the best in AEW, and it's going to be fun to watch. But it's just, to me, it's how we got there that I don't like.
Yeah. No, I agree. Do I still sound good? You have any echo or anything? Okay, perfect.
We're good.
I know we're live, but because my headphones just died, but I'm gonna pretend they're still on so I look cool. So now I'm listening to you through my computer. I'm falling all apart, man. That's what happens when we don't record for a couple weeks. All my batteries
forgot
die
how to
out.
do this.
All right, next up, I want to talk about a match for once in AEW, because I actually had a match that I really, really liked, and that was between the Hurt Syndicate and the Demand. Hurt Syndicate ended up getting the victory over the Demand, which the Demand, whatever else. But it was a really fun, and the reason why I really, really enjoyed this match, Ryan, is because they had a hardcore match and they didn't bleed all over the damn place. There wasn't people getting busted open pointlessly. There wasn't needles and eyeballs. It was a good old-fashioned JR slobber knocking type of brawl that we used to see back in the days. And I was all for it. I thought it was really, really well done. I think the Demand looked really good coming out of it. I think the Hurt Syndicate looked good coming out of it. I thought it was a good eye for an eye. I'm curious to see who wins the next one, but I liked it. It fit well on Dynamite. And this is the kind of stuff I want to see, but that's what Ricochet's getting better, but we've never denied the fact of his wrestling skills. You know what I mean? The Demand altogether as a crew is working flawlessly. And the Hurt Syndicate, there was one botched match, which wasn't their fault, where the table didn't break, but they were like pros and fixed it up really quick and slammed each other through it. I just thought the match in general was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I think this was the best part of the Dynamite altogether. It was a really fun match, and props to Ricochet and everybody else for putting on a banger and not bleeding all over the place for no reason.
Yeah, that was the one thing I noticed when they announced that this was going to be a street fight. I was like, oh, great, it's going to be one of those matches. But then I was like, but after watching it, I'm like, I'm not really that surprised that it wasn't that kind of match, because that's not really been Bobby Lashley's style. That's really never seen MVP in that. So I was like, maybe okay. But I love this match. I thought it was great. Thought it was the highlight of Dynamite. And my favorite part that nobody really is talking about right now, but Shelton Benjamin got the pinfall on Ricochet. And I thought that was awesome. I think that just goes to show you that there's not Bobby Lashley's not more important than Shelton Benjamin. And Shelton Benjamin's not more important than Bobby Lashley. And MVP's not more important than, they're all on even footing. And the fact that they allowed Shelton Benjamin to pin Ricochet it says a lot. And, Shelton Benjamin's one of the best, but you would have thought for sure it was going to be Lashley pinning Ricochet. But instead they went with the other guy, Shelton Benjamin, which I thought was fantastic.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because out of the Hurt Business / Syndicate between WWE and AEW, I think this is the one thing AEW has done better. Bobby Lashley is kind of being booked the same as this beast, although he was a world champion in WWE. He hasn't been around in AEW that long yet. But Shelton Benjamin was always kind of like an afterthought. He was like an old man that didn't have it anymore. He hasn't been treated like that in AEW. And yeah, I agree. I like that a lot. I like that
he was the guy that took the losses. Like if they were going to lose, they were pinning Shelton Benjamin or Cedric Alexander. And I also like that they wrestled in suits. I don't know why I thought that was. I was like, this is like Bobby Lashley's out there in like his suit pants and in his button down, and then he puts it on after they win. He puts his shirt back on. And I was like, that's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, I did too. And although Shelton Benjamin was off pretty quickly, he was like in just suit pants the whole time. I could not imagine wrestling in suit pants. These athletes, man, incredible. Let's get into one thing. We had the return of Jurassic Express. They had basically a squash match. But I want to get your take on what you're feeling, because my one thing was how they were going to look, because since they've broken up, we've had an evil Jack Perry who got beat up by CM Punk, who turned that into forcing CM Punk out of the company, which turned into a real life feud being aired and everything being shown, which people I think forgot, which led to Jack Perry basically taking out Tony Khan, which led to Jack Perry becoming the greatest TBS or TNT champion of all time, which led to him disappearing to only come back now as Jungle Jack Perry. Was he not called Jungle Jack Perry? So now he's back to Jungle Boy again, but he still looks like heel. And then Luchasaurus became Kill Switch, was a beast, and now he's back. My thing is that I'm excited they're back. But my question for you, is it going to work? They got attacked by the Young Bucks afterwards. So obviously we're getting Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks. Young Bucks laid them out after the match. But can this work? Or is Jack Perry better as a heel? I never dug the Jungle Boy. I liked him because he was Luke Perry's son. And Luke Perry was my childhood hero. Dylan McKay from 90210. Rest in peace. Greatest character of all time, in my opinion. Dylan was a high schooler who lived on his own in a hotel, who was a millionaire, who drove a Porsche and did whatever he wanted. How could you not dream about this guy? Or being this guy, I mean. But, like, that's his son, so I respect him. But when he became that heel, I really feel like he found himself. And now he still has the long hair, the beard. He's still, like, he's not acting like Jungle Boy, but we're calling him Jungle Boy again, or Jungle Jack Perry. I don't know. What say you? Can this work? Do you like it? What are we doing here?
I've always had a soft spot for Jurassic Express, and it goes back to what I was saying about the tag team division too. That they're AEW Day One tag team, and it just adds more depth to that division. And they're telling stories in the division that don't involve the tag team championships, which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
But I also agree with you at the same time. Like, something's missing with this current run with Jack Perry and Luchasaurus. And we haven't heard them cut a promo yet. We haven't heard, like, why are they fighting the Young Bucks? Why did Jack Perry turn on the Young Bucks? We still haven't gotten an answer on that. It's just, he came back at All Out and beat up the Young Bucks. And then he came back the 2 weeks after All Out and they beat up the Young Bucks. And this time the Young Bucks beat them up, but we don't really know why the last time we saw him, he was part of the Elite. And now he's back with Luchasaurus, and we have no reason as to why they attacked the Young Bucks and why they turned on Nick and Matt. It makes no sense. So I think we need to hear from him. We need to hear a promo. We need to hear a why. We need to hear a reason. But right now it just feels like they're randomly thrown back together. They're randomly in this match with the Young Bucks, and they're randomly just back because they have nothing else for them. I'm really hoping that they have some, and like, also they should, one thing that they showed that it was Jack Perry who revived Luchasaurus, like with all that stuff too. So are they going to talk any more about that at all? Are they going to go into more details on why he chose Luchasaurus to bring back to life? Or was that just a way to bring them back on TV, even though we just saw Luchasaurus when he was Kill Switch 2 weeks ago at All Out, or All In rather, against Christian Cage and Adam Cole? There's just a lot of, I like Jurassic Express. I'm excited that they're back. I want it to work, but right now there's a lot of question marks surrounding the return.
No, there really are. And even the music throws me off because there are darker characters now. And it's not like they're living up to the old, like, oh, they're just walking out. They're not even like, I'm like, it just all looks weird. It's like when you're playing them on like a video game, right? If you're playing on, although the AEW video game sucks, Fight Forever. But imagine if you were like able to bring back other characters, right? That would be like in like WWE when you do it and you bring them back and like, I'm going to bring the new guys with the old music. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It isn't fitting for me, but I think you're right. I think we need an explanation. Once we get the explanation, maybe it'll feel a little bit more fitting for me. Yeah.
They got to tell us why they did what they did and why they're doing what they're doing. But until then, it's just, it all just feels thrown together.
I agree. All right. Last thing we're going to talk about, and that's the main event. A lot of people were upset on the internet. I was perfectly fine with it, but we had Orange Cassidy defeating the newly steroided Pac. I don't remember. I remember Pac being buff. This dude looks like he gained like 100 pounds of muscle. He looks ferocious. But Orange Cassidy beats him due to a roll up. It was a pretty damn fun match. Had up and downs. A lot of people, I don't know why they're so upset that Orange Cassidy is like one of AEW's biggest stars. I think he deserves a win. He just came back. I know Pac did too, but I mean, I don't know. Nonetheless, I really like the match. These two guys have gone many of times before. They win again. It was a nice closeout. But then after all said and done, we had Darby Allin enter into the match, or enter into the interference after the match, and he chases Moxley. Moxley gets held back. Moxley ends up going up kind of like the side of the area, and there is 1, Darby Allin with a Molotov cocktail ready to light it up. Now, nonetheless, a Molotov cocktail is some kind of device inside of a bottle of glass that you light it, it catches, and it blows up, which blows the glass everywhere. So if he would have thrown that at Jon Moxley, who had all the Death Riders next to him, and they were in the area where there were fans, you're going to tell me that Darby Allin was going to throw this at somebody, blow it up, and probably kill people all around him as well? The blowtorch was stupid enough. And here's my thing. People are like, I see people like complaining about this online, and in the comments, you always have the idiots, right? Like, oh, bro, you're too soft. Oh, way to be woke. Oh, this and that. And it's wrestling. And I guess you weren't around during the Attitude Era. Well, when I go back and watch the Attitude Era, which I was alive during it and watched it all, unlike the people who are making the comments because they weren't alive during it, I go back and watch the Attitude Era now. You know what I make fun of? The stuff like that. You know what I didn't think was awesome? When Brian Pillman broke into Stone Cold's house, or Stone Cold broke into, and he started shooting him, and the lights went out.
Was so
things
stupid.
Like that were
I don't
the
know why
things where I
people
was
like that.
thinking was stupid. There were things in the Attitude Era that were straight stupid. Other than everything that involved women, there were other things that were stupid. You don't remember Stephanie McMahon being crucified? Bro, what are you,
showing up to Nitro with a tank? Like, what are you going to do with a tank? Like, come on.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I like. There's stupid things, and this was stupid. And another thing I really like too is that back in the days when Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H did things that were out of the ordinary, you know what happened? They got arrested. Why was Darby out? He got tackled by security at least. That's attempted murder. That man should have been handcuffed and put into a squad car. We can't just defeat reality because we're inside of an AEW arena. A Molotov cocktail, y'all. I don't know if everybody can really imagine that if you didn't watch it, but it was just bizarre. And I think it really hurt the really, really good match that was won Orange Cassidy and Pac, and I somehow got Ryan sick via internet. Pretty amazing.
I just had a sneezing attack there. But
what say you? What am I off base with this? I mean, like, it's so stupid.
No,
like, is Darby trying to kill him? Is that what is this? And one more thing before you can go for the rest of the way is that now I'm like disappointed. I'm not looking. I was so looking forward to this match and Darby Allin finally getting a win. Now I think this is going to be like I literally texted you. I would not be surprised if Darby Allin pulled out a gun and held it to Moxley's head and said, "I'm going to pull the trigger," and Moxley says, "I quit." And it's going to be something as stupid as that. I can see it, which is bizarre with who Tony Khan is as a human. I'm just surprised by this booking decisions.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this match at all. I think this build and everything they're doing with the Molotov cocktail, and he also pulled out a taser way at the beginning, like all this jazz.
People were afraid in the crowd. People were like ducking. They were like, "What the?"
It's like I was looking forward to it, but now I'm like, this match is gonna suck, and it's just gonna be a screwdriver to the head. Okay, well, here's a fork to the head. I'm gonna get a pizza cutter. I'm gonna cut your eyeball. Like, I don't want to see all that. And I think it solidifies the fact that Hangman Adam Page was the right guy to dethrone Jon Moxley instead of Darby Allin. I think they made the right decision because to me, like, you don't, a future world champion doesn't bring a Molotov cocktail to a fight. I don't think Hangman Page did burn down Swerve's house, but he wasn't going to bomb him with a Molotov cocktail. Like, he was just going to fight him. They would do syringes and stuff. So maybe I'm, speaking out of both sides of my mouth here, but I don't know. This was too much. Darby Allin's just like, I thought maybe after he climbed Mount Everest, when he came back, he would tone it down a little bit with all the hardcore stuff and the extreme stuff. And now it feels worse than it was when he was jumping through glass tables and stuff. Because now he's just being an idiot. And that's all this is. He's just being a moron.
I think the thing is too with AEW is that they go so pointlessly hardcore that you can't do things anymore, like a chair, a kendo stick, a bat, because people aren't going to believe it anymore because you're stabbing people now and you have a Molotov. I don't know. It's just, that's what I've always said. When you do too much all the time, you've set yourself up for failure because what are you going to do to top yourself, right? It's just like their finishers. You can't just finish people now anymore because you do finishers 6 times in a row now and people kick out of them and it's not even like a blink of an eye. You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know. Yeah, it was really a bummed way, but I loved Orange Cassidy and Pac, and I'd like to see Orange Cassidy win. I thought Orange Cassidy should have won. He's the bigger star. Sorry, I love Pac, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I like Pac too. I don't like that he cut his hair. He looks too much like Wade Barrett for my liking right now.
Yeah.
I thought it was Wade Barrett out there for a while. He's going to give us some bad news, but I do like this. I like this match, and I like what they're doing with Orange Cassidy. He's working his way back into being the everyman in AEW who wrestles at the top of every show and the beginning of every show.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm digging this, and I want to see more. Let's see what they do. Great match.
Yeah, I agree. All right, that's our week in review, and I know we ended on a weird thing, but so did AEW. But it was a good week for AEW. I'm digging it. I am excited for WrestleDream for most of the matches, the majority of them. All right, so let's get into our segment, y'all. It is true or false. We're going to give a couple of our opinions of what we think could happen or should happen, and me or Ryan will say if it's true or false. As always, we start with the gentleman. Ryan, what do you got for me? What's your first thing to throw at me?
All right. This was something that we didn't talk about last week as well, but Andrade is back in AEW. So he was released by the WWE again, and then he re-signs with AEW again, and then the Don Callis family announces that they have a new member again, and it's none other than one Andrade, who's back in AEW again. But Andrade is back. So true or false, Andrade will have a better second run in AEW than his first run.
Sorry, I'm having a coughing attack, but that is false.
It's damn true.
Oh, wrong button.
False.
Yes, it's false all the way. There's you get to that point where it's not you, it's me, it's not you. Like this is like if you're dating a person and you keep break up with them and you date another person, they break up with you, date another person, they break up with you, and all the reasons are the same. You can't keep saying like these girls suck, man. They just don't get eventually you got to look in the mirror and say it's you. This is, and I haven't heard anybody, WWE hardcore fans or AEW hardcore fans, who were excited about this. No one. They've all said the same thing. I've even put things out where people are like, you're wrong about this, wrong about that, but you're right about Andrade, it wasn't because of Charlotte Flair, it wasn't anything else. There's just something with this guy. I don't know. I'm not behind the scenes, but you don't go bing, 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 bing if you're doing something right. So it's not like the booking, but he was putting the Don Callis on. What did he do this week? He didn't even take his damn mask off. He just sat there. You didn't even know who he was. Like, he's gonna fall apart.
Kenny Omega,
yeah. Well, other than that, I just don't see him doing much. I think he's just gonna. The Don Callis is a cancer. You go into that group and you're gonna die away. And people are like, "That's not true, MWO. You don't know what you're talking about." The only people who are making it were big before him. Well, what about Kyle Fletcher? Kyle Fletcher was already getting big before the Don Callis family. He went in there when he was peaking in his momentum, and then he won the title. All of them. Takeshita, only made it because Don Callis. Okada's only famous because of the Don Callis family. Get out of my face with that. Everybody who's famous in Don Callis were famous beforehand. Everybody else, shoot, some people even get injured day one after they join the group. So, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's false big time. He ain't doing nothing again. He just doesn't have it in him. And that's no knock. I have nothing against Andrade. I'm just saying he'd probably be better somewhere else. But what is there? AEW, WWE own all the big Mexican companies as well. So where the hell do you go?
I think this is certainly his last chance. That if it doesn't work here in AEW, it's not going to work at all. And I don't like WWE. He seems to have burned his bridges with all the rumors of, he was like hiding from them. He was like avoiding their phone calls. He was not being booked properly. He violated a drug policy. Like he did all these things.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And so I feel like AEW is taking a chance on him and giving him one more chance. And I think this is it. So I feel like it has to be better than his first run for that very reason. So I'm going to say,
oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Just because it has to be. Otherwise, if it's not, we're never going to see Andrade again.
You have too much faith, young Jedi. Too much faith.
I probably do. You're probably right.
All right. You ready for mine?
Yeah.
All right. True or false? Samoa Joe once again defeats the odds and wins the world title at WrestleDream. Remember his first one, he beat MJF out of the blue. Does he do it again? Randomly put into a match and beats Hangman Page to become the new champion at WrestleDream.
False.
Yeah, that title, they're saving it for Maxwell. Like you brought up MJF, you brought up the fact that he randomly beat MJF out of the blue at all those years ago, which feels like forever ago now. But I think what they're going to do is they're going to have Hangman Page win, and then after the match, MJF comes back and he announces that he's cashing in his briefcase either at the next pay-per-view or sometime on Dynamite or sometime on Collision. Sometime he's going to announce, and then he's going to win the world title then. So I do think MJF is the next AEW world champion, not Samoa Joe.
I say false too.
False.
But I would not be surprised if it's true. I said false when he wrestled MJF. I'm like, there's no way. And then he beat MJF, and I was like, oh, okay. And he had a decent. I think Tony Khan, I say he hates big men. I don't think he considers Samoa Joe a big man. I think he just considers Samoa Joe a Samoan. So I think he loves Samoa Joe. He pushes him to the moon. This was so randomly put together. I mean, I think I'm going to put my money on Hangman, but I'm telling you right now, if they close off WrestleDream with Samoa Joe as a champion, I'm not going to be like, buh. I'm going to be like, oh, well, it's happened before. So, and he had a good run. He's one of the few title reigns in AEW.
He did. He had a great reign, and I wouldn't put it past him. But to beat Hangman Page, I just think it's too soon to take it off of Hangman.
I agree. All right, what's your last one?
All right. Let's see. We talked about that one, so I'm going to go to this one. All right. We'll do a future thing with Toni Storm. So, and when all is said and done, when Toni Storm's career is over, she will be known as the greatest women's character of all time. Character, not mic work, not championship accolades, not in-ring ability, but just her gimmick, her character in women's wrestling.
Character. I'm going to say false.
Yeah.
Only
False.
Only because if it's just character, right? I mean, Sensational Sherry was so good. Miss Elizabeth was so good. I mean, even China, that was a character, right? I mean, China was, and I'm not gonna say like Lita or Trish, because those were just wrestlers, or Becky Lynch and isn't a character. Like an actual character, like I don't know.
Queen Charlotte, Queen Charlotte.
Not like that. Those aren't characters, but like Miss Elizabeth, like that was a character, right? I mean, I feel like that was and Miss Elizabeth to me is like one of the most iconic, like Sensational Sherry. That was a character. She was just like, I don't know, maybe, and there's probably a lot more. Like I said, I'm sick. My brain's not working. I would say she's going to be the greatest character in AEW history, but of all time, I mean, I wouldn't say no, but here's the thing, right? If we're going on a character, then we're not going off Toni Storm when she first got there. We're going off of just the timeless one. Hasn't been around that long either. I don't know. It's a good character, but she got a lot of help from Mariah May as well, I might say. Yeah. Her character died when Mariah May died, if you hear what I'm saying. It hasn't been the same since. So, and don't forget Mercedes Money. That's a pretty damn good character. But,
CEO. Yeah. No, I'm going to say
false.
For now. I think it has potential to be, but like you said, it's way too early. I want to see her without the title. I want to see what she does without the championship for a while. Like, how does she keep this gimmick going? How does she keep it alive? How does she stay relevant? Does she go back to doing the movie stuff? I noticed she's doing more promos with like her hair down. Like she's not all made up and dolled up. So like, is that going to be part of her thing going forward? Drop the lesbian stuff and like go back to like doing the movies and that kind of stuff. That was when she was at her peak, and that was when she was at her best. So I'm curious to see what she does now that she doesn't have the title. But I think she has potential to become the greatest women's character, but I don't think she's quite there yet.
Yeah, agreed. Well said. All right, my last one's a future thing too. Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
True or false? Britt Baker and Adam Cole, no longer together, will never wrestle in an AEW ring again.
False.
I
Both
think
or one?
one. I think Britt Baker's done. I think Britt Baker's never wrestling in AEW ever again. The reason why is because 2 weeks ago they were in Pittsburgh, which is Britsburg, Britt Baker's hometown, and she was nowhere to be found. Like if she was going to come back, it was going to be on that night, on that episode of Dynamite. That was the episode. It was right after All Out. It was when Kris Statlander was thinking about joining the Death Riders at the end. And Darby Allin came out with the flamethrower and challenged John Moxley. I was like, okay, maybe this is when Britt's going to come out. She's going to come out. She's going to join the Death Riders and take out Kris Statlander. That's why I thought they were going to end it, and they didn't do it. They had Darby Allin come out instead. So I think she's done. I think Adam Cole with Kyle O'Reilly there, with Broderick Strong there, I do think Adam Cole does like it in AEW. I think he gets opportunities to do things, side gimmicks like his Twitch stream and all this stuff, the video game stuff that I don't know if he would be able to do in WWE. So I think Adam Cole will wrestle in AEW again, but I don't think Britt Baker will.
So you don't think he's career ending?
No, not at all.
I'm gonna go with true.
Yeah?
Oh, it's true.
I think it is. I think Adam Cole's like basketball players, you know what I mean? Where they get that injury and they get it again and they can just they're never the same. Derrick Rose and amongst others, even football players, like, you know what I mean, who just lose a step after they tear an Achilles or get injured too many times. Or, Brandon Roy, if you remember who he is on the show.
One of my favorite players of all time.
Like, yeah, it's just people just get injured and they can never get over it. I think Adam Cole's going to be that guy. I think he's had too many, and whatever this was serious. It was out of nowhere because he went from wrestling to not being in a card and retiring as the TNT champion. There's just a lot to it. I think he's going to realize, hey, I got enough money. I can do other things in AEW. I can do the streaming thing. I can still make an income and be a part of wrestling without being in a ring. So, yes, I don't think we'll ever see Britt and Adam Cole again. And I don't think we'll see Adam Cole go to WWE because they're more strict with injury policies and stuff. So I can see him never doing it again. But I could be wrong. I'm hoping we see them both wrestling again. I don't care where it is, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
And Britt's been out way too long. She's wasting her prime, man. She's like in the best shape of her life. She's like a skinny goddess right now, just getting wasted away.
I know. It's really unfortunate. I don't know what's going on. We haven't really heard. We don't know what is it a contract deal? Is it Tony Khan being petty? Like what's going, who knows what's happening, but either way, Britt Baker's definitely going to the WWE as soon as she can, but I don't think Adam Cole is going back anytime soon.
All right. Well, there it is. True or false? Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree with us and our takes, and if you think it's true or false. All right, let's break this down before I have a panic attack with all my sickness. My congestions are getting awful. Let's go into our favorite segment of the week, which we do every week. It's our LVD and MVD, where we say our least valuable and most valuable dude or dudette. Doesn't mean we hate or love them. It just means they were the best or worst booked. This was a pretty hard week for me to pick on both. But what say you, Ryan? Who's your LVD of the week of AEW?
When in doubt, I go with the person who runs the show, and I'm going to give it to Tony Khan this week. And the reason why is because, they did have to move their show from Wednesday to Tuesday because of baseball playoffs. So they hyped it up as Title Tuesday. So you're thinking like, oh, every title is going to be on the line. There's going to be title matches galore. It's, and what did they give us as part of the hype? We had Mercedes Moné versus unknown wrestler from Florida. And we had a TNT championship match. And that was it. And it was just like, huh? Like that was like, that's Title Tuesday. Like you're giving us these, we don't even know who Mercedes is wrestling. It turns out she's wrestling Lacey Lane, not JC Jane, but Lacey Lane, who was in WWE before in NXT. But like, I don't know. It was just very, very strange.
Too, by the way, what's with Tony Khan bringing people in, debuting them from WWE or another one and having them lose?
Yeah, I don't get that. Yeah, that was a horrible decision. But you called this episode Title Tuesday, and then you had the ending with Darby Allin committing domestic terrorism on John Moxley. Then you have, some of the, you had great stuff on this show. You had really good stuff with the Hurt Syndicate and the demand. You had the promo between Samoa Joe and Hangman Page. You had a lot of great stuff, great matches with Orange Cassidy there and at the end, and Pac, and just you had good stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I just called it, and then you got obliterated in the ratings. Like NXT averaged around 625,000 people, I think it was, and AEW had the career worst in their 6 years of existence. 2 weeks after their anniversary show, they have their worst 321,000 people tuned in for this. That's pretty bad. So yeah, I got to give it to Tony Khan.
Yeah, well said. Well said. I'm going to give it to the man who I think was the worst booked because he looked like an idiot, and that's one Darby Allin. The man showed up one week, and he showed up with a Molotov cocktail, attempting to murder Jon Moxley and everybody within a 10-foot, 20-foot distance, a ratio of him, with glass blowing up and fire going everywhere. I have no idea what the hell they're doing with Darby Allin. Like you said, he did Mount Everest, returned. This man should have been shot right into beating Moxley. He lost the Moxley in his own match. After that, he attempted to murder him by lighting his casket on fire. Then after that, Jon Moxley was back 4 days later, only to then 2 weeks later have him try to blowtorch him and then Molotov cocktail him. What the fudge are we doing? So maybe I should give it to Tony Khan as well, because this booking is, but it's Darby Allin who's being the booked, and Darby Allin deserves better. When he came back, I was like, all right, we're finally gonna do it. We're gonna like push him in and this and that, and then there he was. It was just as confusing as seeing Sammy Guevara this week, and has the tag team belts he had with Dustin Rhodes, but now he's with all Hispanic crew. Is he still with Dustin Rhodes? I don't watch ROH. I was so confused.
No, he turned on him. Yeah.
I was so confused. Like, and that's what I'm confused right now with like Darby Allin's booking. I have no idea what the heck is going on, but it's bad. Do better.
No, this was not a good week for Darby. And like people thought he was going to be the one to dethrone Jon Moxley and like at All In. And I think, again, I've said it before, but Hangman Page winning, this just shows that that was the right choice from the very beginning. Because I don't think Darby Allin, like him, imagine him being the world champion, having to need a Molotov cocktail, having to need a flamethrower. Like that would just make him look so weak. And the fact that he lost to Jon Moxley in his first match back, and like, yeah, he's just, I don't know what they're doing with him, because he should have been launched into superstar status, and I don't think he's anywhere close to beating Hangman Page for the AEW World Championship anytime soon either. Unfortunately,
doesn't look like it. No, not at all. Unless he brings an axe next or something. All right, now let's end on a positive. Yeah, right. Let's end on a positive. MVD of the week. Who do you got?
You know, we didn't talk about them, and I know we crapped on the Don Callis family a little bit, but I'm going to go with Takeshita and Okada. I like I like their dynamic. I like that they did the Double Jeopardy tag team match this week. I like that there were ramifications with that. I actually like that concept. I thought that was a cool concept that Tony Khan came up with. So there was one positive from the LVD. But I do like I like the pairing of Okada and Takeshita. I like that they won the tag team match, and they're going to go after the AEW World Tag Team Championships against Brodito. And there's still the whole resentment thing with Takeshita and Okada. There's they're kind of feuding with each other, but they're teaming together. So I'm kind of digging that. Okada is just a shining star in the Don Callis family, and I really like what they're doing with Takeshita as well. So if there are any positives to take away from the Don Callis family, it's those two individuals. But I'm digging what they're doing, and I think they should beat Brodito at WrestleDream. But I'm going to go with Okada and Takeshita as my MVDs.
So here's my thing. Well done. Well said. I did crap on the Don Callis family, but I also said there were 3 people who were big before Okada, Takeshita, your MVDs, and my MVD of the week, Kyle Fletcher. So yes, we're going to do all around props to Don Callis, but it was the people who were big before they joined the crew. Kyle Fletcher, he ended up Collision, basically staring down Orange Cassidy, challenging Kyle O'Reilly to a match with chance of we want Kyle. The whole Kyle thing was pretty funny too, by the way, that, you know, Kyle's going to win or one Kyle's going to lose.
Yeah, I do like when they do that.
It was fun, but they had a hell of a good match. Kyle Fletcher had a great match with Kyle O'Reilly. It was a banger, defended his title. And if there's anybody who is being built strong minus Okada. I think more than Hangman. I think right now the best build for wrestlers is being built as a person. Mox, Okada, Fletcher, then Hangman. And I think Kyle Fletcher's just being built as this guy. I'm not saying they're where they are important wise. I mean, being built as that like aura of they're like invincible. And Moxley is the guy. Okada doesn't lose. Kyle Fletcher and Hangman. Yeah, I think Kyle Fletcher's above him. I think he's just being built as a star. Whether I think he's ready or not, or he showed me he is, he has been booked that way. And this is the best booked person for the week. And I think ending Collision with a promo and having a hell of a match and defeating Kyle O'Reilly, which is nothing to write home about, because what the hell has Kyle O'Reilly done in AEW? I mean, that's what we do in AEW. We have champions face people who don't deserve it and really good matches. I just got to embrace it. That's what they did here. And I just think Kyle Fletcher was being built like a star. So yeah, he's my MVD of the week.
Yeah. I know for all the shit we talked about with the Don Callis family, they end the week strong. And yeah, I like Kyle Fletcher. I like that pick. He had a great promo on Collision, like you said, and that match with Kyle O'Reilly was fun. So
it was a banger.
Great way to open the show.
It was. All right. That's our AEW week in review. And like I said, we will be back next week. I guarantee it. I did this sick. We did WWE. If you haven't checked that out, it's up. We did AEW. We did them both. We're going to continue trucking. We're going to keep posting on TikTok. Look out for us tomorrow too. We'll be posting TikToks all day about Crown Jewel at Perth. Hopefully, if I can, if my brain works. I'm so out of it. But as always, please subscribe, please follow, please tag us, please share us. We need the views. We love you guys. We do this for you guys. We want to get big. We want to get out there. Shit, ESPN needs some people to talk WWE on their network. We'll do it. We just need to get big, get us out there. And we know we can. Santi was on damn Chris Van Fleet, for crying out loud. So anything is possible. So, I mean, you could just do it if you put your mind to it. And as always, if you just want to check me out, I'm on all social medias at my_wrestling_opinion. And with me is
Ryan Enjoys Wrestling on all the social media platforms. Go follow me there. Go follow us on TikTok at 2 Dudes with Attitudes. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to start posting more content pretty regularly, so be on the lookout coming up relatively soon. And go follow us on Instagram at 2 Dudes with Attitudes Podcast. We're on Twitch at 2 Dudes_ with Attitudes, so go follow us there. We're live on both WWE and AEW episodes. We're live today, so go follow us on there. And then if you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, we are in the top 10% of all listened to wrestling podcasts. Let's keep that momentum going. Let's get us in the top 5%, the top 1%. And the way to do that is to leave us 5-star ratings and reviews. Show us the love, help us grow, and telling everybody about your favorite dudes on the internet.
2 Dudes Wolfpack. We out.
2 dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the 2 dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast, shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the 2 dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat.